keep showing up and get better and better every time. And this is a kind of a follow-up from yesterday where I was live critiquing my own mix, and that's okay. I can critique the mix because it was my mix, and then I had some people ask me to critique their mix, and so I'm getting ready to. I'll embark on some of those things. I'll critique the mix. I'll listen, but it's a little more uncomfortable for me to critique your mix because, it's not my mix. It's your mix. So, I want to be nice, and I think about this day to day, and I'm going to read in Philippians, verse 4, and I'm going to read 8. Finally, brothers and sisters, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about such things. Whatever you have learned or received from me or seen in me, put that into practice. And the God of peace will be with you. It's early this morning. I've got to run some errands, but I'm in the studio. If you're new to the channel, I'm Eric Roberts. I am right here from Worship the King Studios in beautiful Nashville, Tennessee. I'm a worship leader, a producer, a multi-instrumentalist, and I'm a fellow obsessor. And today I'm going to be continuing to obsess on my own stuff and the stuff that I'm doing for my church, for my live streams, for my worship team, for my band, for the channel, for everything I'm doing. So, but in that obsession, and I'm going to show you guys a few things of what I'm doing, I'm hoping that it inspires you to show up and do better every day. I thought about this in more of a long-term thought process. Where did this obsession come from, and how did I channel it through the years? And I can remember way back, and I have a 4-track recorder in my storage unit, which I'll bring out, because I've got a whole wall of 4-track tapes from when I was a kid. And when I learned that you could record multi-tracks and you could play a guitar riff and then you could loop it and you could go play another riff and then you could actually record your own stuff, I started obsessing, and I started recording, and I started making stuff when I was 8th grade, 9th grade. This is the era of 4-track tape recorders for me, and it just became an obsession for me, a good thing. It's a good obsession. And it became my hobby. It became eventually becomes my profession. Playing music, it becomes my university study. And every time, everything I do, I look back. And if you're a musician and you've done anything like recorded records, or if you're a painter, you've painted pictures, you're going to know that your last picture is your best picture. Your latest album is your best album. It's the thing you're most excited about. And that's how it was. I mean, when I was recording 10th grade, when I was recording the 2-song, what we call an EP back then, or a single, Somewhere in Nowhere in 10th grade, when I was recording that, I thought it was the best thing in the world. Like, it was the most amazing thing. You listen back, and I still think, yeah, it was a pretty good project. But every time that I do something, it gets better. And that is what I want to apply to the scenarios in your church ministry, really in your life. This isn't just about church ministry, but because that's where my focus is on this channel, and mostly in my brain, is focusing on using our gifts, our talents for ministry, using your gifts and your talents for your church and for things that will glorify God. Then you're going to get better and better. You're going to look back, and there's going to be eras that you go like, oh yeah, I thought I was good back then. Like, I thought I was good at the junior high dance. I thought I was good. My band played Enter Sandman at the junior high dance. So if any of you on Facebook are watching this and you can remember that, I remember it because it was like the beginning. I still actually have the guitar picks that I used in the 8th grade dance. In fact, they're right there. They're actually right here. I'll get them. Let me get them. This is going to be awesome. I'll show you guys. I think they're right there. They're right there. Look, you look back and you think where you were, and you look to the dreams and the thoughts and the processes that you want to get to. And so I'm going on about this, and here's the picks that I used in the 8th grade dance. Okay, this was the first. I believe this was the first pick, and this was the next gig. Okay, this is a purple pick actually. That's the first gig, which I don't even know if they make these kind of picks anymore. I've had these for all those years, over 20 years, 25 years now. Because that was the beginning of my obsession with being in a band, playing music, mixing, learning how to do a sound system. Yesterday I talked about that. If you look around and think I want to play in a band, I want to jam, I want to do a gig. Well, first of all, you're gonna have to learn how to turn on your amp and turn on your speakers, and you're gonna have to, for us, it was like, hey, you guys want to jam? Well, go figure it out. Figure out what you need. So I was obsessing on figuring out what I needed to make it work, and I'm 25 years later. I'm still obsessing. It's just on a different level. And all through the years, as you look back, you're going to think that that moment is your best. So give it your best and then keep showing up and get better. So if I'm critiquing a mix for a church, or if I'm listening to your mix, or if I'm critiquing a player in the youth group, or if I'm critiquing myself, which I like to do the most because it's the way that I can get better. I'm looking at standards above me and saying, how can I get to that level? Then I'm critiquing myself and trying to get better. And sometimes you just like, okay, I'm as good as I'm going to be for now. And that's good. And that's what you should do. Artistically and musicianship wise, you should realize when you're at your moment where that is as good as you can be at that moment. Then keep showing up and get a little better every time. If you do that, you're going to be a phenomenal musician. Number one, you're going to serve your church well. You're going to serve your team well, your worship team. You're not going to come out your first Sunday with in-ears and feel like it's the most awesome day of your life and feel like it was the most amazing experience. You may not. You may just come out and you may feel like it was a disaster. You can stretch yourself. I was stretched several years ago when I started playing with my church, Fairhaven in Ohio. Very, very large church, bigger than any church I'd played with. It was a stretch. Now, I'd played for a lot of churches, but it was a whole different game there. It was a lot of different stuff that was stretching me. I was like, this is awesome. When I'm getting really pushed and stretched, then I'm feeling like I'm getting somewhere. So maybe that's what you guys take your frustrations about your church live stream, which is what I was talking about yesterday and what I'm going to talk more about today. Take your frustrations about anything in your life, your artistic, where you're at with your guitar, where you're at with the equipment that you currently have. A lot of people spend a lot of time saying like, I only have this and this is all I have. Well, if you look at some pictures of some other countries, they have like a djembe and like one speaker with mud all over it and half in the rain and maybe not even electricity, and they're worshiping. So you're going to have to be where you're at and move from there forward. You're going to have to keep showing up and getting better. Allow yourself to look forward and then critique and then move. That's what makes, in my opinion, a great leader, especially in this worship ministry church world. You're left almost to your own thoughts to make this worship ministry happen. You're left almost make it happen. I mean, I've taken on church jobs where they're just like, all right, that's what we have and that's what we want. We want to be better. Go do it. But they don't really define to me exactly what better is, or they don't exactly define to me how much better is acceptable. So it's left to you, oftentimes to your own thoughts, to know when is good enough, when is acceptable, right? And then all along the way, you have to live with yourself, right? You have to live in the moment, and you have to live with yourself. So, yeah. So I'm looking at some comments here. Thank you, Facebook user. I don't see your name, but it says, I love the work that you do. Thank you for that. I'm going to keep doing it. And I don't know your name. It doesn't show me on this one. Had a 4-track recording reel for a long time. And I had one, and I went and I bought a new one. And it wasn't a new one. It was a used Tascam Porta Studio 2. And that Tascam Porta Studio 2 is going to come on the channel soon. I'm going to pull out some of my old mixtapes. Oh man, it's going to be fun. I mean, I have so many awesome riffs and 4-track tapes from all my high school bands and everything. We were recording all the time. So I listen to it now and I'm still like, oh, that was good. I remember stuff from back in the day, and I let it push me forward. Just like yesterday when I was doing my critique of the church mix from last week, and it's good because it's benchmarking me, and it's letting me look at realistically, where am I right now? How good is this right now? What do I want to get better? Now, I'll tell you with the church mix, and I'm not going to get into the details of that today, until later today. But some things are going to get really good, like our drum sound is really good right now. So I'm going to let that be. I'm going to kind of protect that, kind of keep it set and let it move forward. But I'm going to tweak other things, like maybe a vocal mic here, a guitar here, tone here, click track, things like that. So as an artistic seeker, as somebody who's trying to get better every time, as somebody who's stuck in a job or a church where they're, no, I say stuck. That's not a great word. You're in a church. Some of you definitely feel stuck, so that's okay if you feel stuck. That's the idea. Show up, get a little better. Take what you have, make your inventory. If you need to raise money, that's the other thing. A lot of people like, we don't have any money. We don't have any money. Our church has money, but we don't have endless funds of money. There are a lot of things that I say. My pastor's like, well, we're not there yet. We're not there yet. Maybe next year. So you've got to take baby steps. Even, especially in the church, they're not just going to write you a blank check usually and say, just make this happen. If that happens, then you have the problem with, oh my goodness, they just gave me a bunch of money and I'm not really sure exactly what mixer to buy or what system to do. Then you're in your head thinking, I saw a church last week, they had $35,000 setup that they did. So now you're stuck with, now I have 35 grand, my pastor wants it to be awesome. And then you're stuck with a whole nother fear of what if I get the wrong setup? What if it doesn't work as good as he thought it was for 35 grand? So, for example, I'll give you a little bit of technical on for me, and this is just what we're doing. Today I'm going to be going over to the church, I think, if I can get over there. I'm going to be running some cables, and I'm going to do a vlog from the church. But I bought this this week, USB 2.0 extender. Okay, this thing right here, USB 2.0 extender. Now, we have a scenario where we just want to get we're at that point where I just want to get my mixing console, my live stream mixing computer out of the room because it's in the room. So I've been looking into all this equipment. I want to do Dante. Dante is harder to set up than this. This is a very simple, inexpensive fix. Okay, this is going to allow me to run my USB from my mixer to another room. You know, it's really simple stuff. Under $100, no networking, no Dante. I know Dante is going to be the final thing, but as we're building, we're just going to take little steps to get better. We're focused, we're doing things, we're showing up, we're getting a little better. If you want me to critique or look at your live stream mix, and I will be just basically honest, I'm just going to look at it and tell you what I would do to get a little better. Because I realize, like, no matter how hard you work, somebody can show up and say, well, this. So that's not the point of my critiques. My critiques are listening to myself and going, what is good about this? What could get better? And how am I going to get better with the limited budget, time, effort, volunteer, staff, whatever that we have right now? I have limitations too. You have limitations. And that's one reason that last year we launched Worship the King, Worship Band Builder Foundations, and it's right here on the website. I'm going to show it to you before we get off, and then the rest of the day is going to be awesome because I'm going to be going live. I'm going to show you guys some more critiques of another church, and I might bring on a couple people this week, and also I'm going to show you how I'm going to run this cable. I know you guys like to look at cables being run. Worship leadership, worship band builder foundations, guitar vocal, piano theory, drums and bass, electric guitar, audio, and live stream foundations. This is one of my favorite modules now when I'm working on. And worship leadership foundations, which is basically teaching you how to build a band from the scratch up and how to make it work every week to week. Also, if you want all of these, you can actually click on this right now. We have partnered with Church Answers, Tom Rainer at Church Answers, and you can actually have lifetime access to every bundle that we have. It's a phenomenal website, churchanswers.com. You should check it out, especially you pastors and even worship leaders who feel lonely and feel a need to be able to talk. They have a great forum that is very active, and you can actually share your heart there and get answers from the team at Church Answers and from other people like myself and other pastors. They'll just talk to you on there. I know it's kind of a lonely world sometimes, especially in ministry. You can't go out and tell everybody everything you think about what's going on at church, but at churchanswers.com, you can do that. And it's I think they have roughly over 2,000 pastors in that forum, which is, I think, better than any Facebook group you could ever find. You can also do Facebook groups, but like I said yesterday, some people go on Facebook and they say, my pastor or my worship leader or these people at my church, and they start talking about their church issues on the worship leader forums. And I feel like your church members could possibly see that. So I would just caution you to do that. Also, just look into the churchanswers.com forum. Also, since we've partnered with them, they offer the lowest price for our complete bundle. And I'm just going to keep telling you guys that. So in case you decide, I need to use some of these materials to train my sound guys, I'm training our team right now at our church. I'm training our team right now. And everything that I do, I'm chronicling in the Audio Livestream Foundations bundle. So as I'm going through and working with the volunteers and setting up the systems and doing everything that we're doing, even drawing out the diagrams, I'm doing it right here on the YouTube channel, and I'm archiving it and putting it into the Audio Livestream Foundations bundle every week or so. Now this is phenomenal because we will be showing you exactly what we're doing and exactly how we're doing it. And then you can also, if you're a member at Worship the King, it's very simple to do. Just go join us there. Join the community. Help support the channel. And if you don't do any of this, take your finger, click it on the little share button right there, and just share this video to your friends. That would help us immensely. And don't stop. No matter what you do not stop. Make sure you keep going. Make sure you move forward to the next day. Make your list. Make your big dream. This is for your job, for your life, not just for your church, but for everything you do. Sit down and say, where do I want to be in a year or two? Where do I want to be in 5 years? And that is what I've continued to do, and what I believe I have found the success that I have found in my own life. It's my own success. There again, I'm not going to run out and say, I'm Mr. Successful. I'm this and that. In my own dreams and goals, I can look at them and say, have I been successful? Have I got where I wanted to be? Have I mapped out a path to where I want to be next? And am I there? No? Then am I getting there? What am I going to do to get there? Okay? What am I going to do to make it happen? So this isn't about one day you are all of a sudden successful. Also in ministry and in your worship team, there isn't going to be a day you just go, I'm there. I'm successful. You're going to feel a sense of success along the way as you plan ahead to get that success. Now, this is a lot more of the kind of stuff we talk about in Worship Leadership Foundations. It's not about playing the guitar. It's not about all that. You can do all of those things and fail in your leadership ability or your ability to push a vision. And you can actually, once you do that, you can lose the whole thing. You can lose it all. You can lose your sanity. You can lose your sense of feeling like you even want to show up anymore at church and do it. It's key that you're putting vision in place, that you're showing up, and that you're making it happen a little bit at a time. So to wrap this up today, I was at lunch with my pastor and my worship director, and we were talking about the mix. And I said, hey guys, the mix in our church right now, because we're training a lot of new guys, it's not like one day they're going to come in and be like, well, that's it. I said, a mix, training a team of mixers. Mixing is a creative process, just like the band, and it's going to take time. So we listen, we critique, we move forward, we train, we listen, we critique, we move forward, we do more, we work together, we become friends. Hopefully, at the end of this, we're all friends, and that we're all going, look what God is doing in our church. Look what God is doing in our friendships. Look what God is doing in our community, that we want to go to church, that we want to get behind the soundboard, that we want to support the worship team, that we want to be a part of a moving, growing move of God, which happens in the church. That's what it's about. And that's where I'm going to leave you today. That's what I have today. I don't really have an ending script for my videos yet, but I'm going to make one because I want to have a really cool ending script. But this is the ending script today. Go out there, show up, get a little better,